everyone. Okay, welcome back to the Home Reset Challenge. This is officially day 3. We are now moving away from the bathrooms and we are going to start in the kitchen. So go ahead and start making sure that you have your doomsday box with you, you have your clutter cleaning kit with you. We want to make sure that we have everything that we need so that we're ready to go. I don't know about you, but please tell me in the comments how you guys are doing today. How did the bathroom go? Are you feeling a little overwhelmed? I talked to a couple people, and the organizing portion is what stressed a lot of people out. And I think that that's normal in the bathroom. The decluttering part is the easiest, but the organizing part isn't. And I didn't really say that yesterday, and so I'm sorry if you felt like that was supposed to be easy and it wasn't. But that the organizing part in the bathroom can be very challenging, especially with all the pipe work and cabinets and the mix of cabinets and drawers or fake drawers or whatever you have. That part can be challenging. So today it might be a little harder to declutter in the kitchen, but it might be easier to organize because usually the space is kind of set up a little bit where it's just drawers and cabinets, and you have shelves, and usually those can be adjusted somehow, and so it might be easier for you to organize today. Might be a little bit more effort in the decluttering process. Okay, so I am sorry if I didn't clarify that and you were feeling discouraged. Again, if you are stuck, you don't have to have a clean before and after. Go ahead and post your picture and just say, hey, I'm stuck. I almost said, hey, Miss Kathy, because I'm usually talking to my students. Hey, I'm stuck on this. What should I do? What do you suggest? And remember, I'm happy to help. Just put it in those comments so that it can also help other people and be part of the community and part of the challenge. Okay. 301. If you're new here, I am Melanie Caffey. I own the Organized Drawer. I'm a professional organizer in the greater Memphis area, including DeSoto County, parts of Mississippi. So if you ever do need extra help in a certain space, and you want it to go all out, or you just know that you need help getting in charge of it, I'd love to be the person who helps you. Please message me, get on the books. January is booked, but February does have openings, so please go ahead and book if that's something that you want to do. We are in a new space today, so you've got your stuff now, but also this is the best time to check your doomsday box. Check it, see if you have any items that belong in this space, and take them out of your doomsday box and put them in this space. If you can put them away, that's fine. Go ahead and put them quickly away. Like if you've randomly had a spoon in your bathroom, which does happen often. Like I drink a little morning drink in the morning, and I have like a cup and a spoon. And so if that would have been in there yesterday, I would have put that, I probably would have just taken it to the kitchen. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. You can put it in your doomsday box, and then now it's in the kitchen, you can put it in the sink, okay? So that's something you want to kind of practice as we're going to the different rooms. First thing we're going to do, we're going to set the intent. We're setting the intent of our space. This is a kitchen. Okay, what needs to happen here? What do we want to happen here, and how do we want it to happen, okay? Obviously, there are obvious answers, okay? We want people to eat in here. We want people to cook in here. We want people to be able to clean up their food in here. Although we really don't want that. It's just part of it, right? That's part of the functioning, necessary item in this space that has to happen. And we want to make sure that that flows smoothly, because we know any friction, any kind of resistance to do things, that's what's going to stop us from maintaining a system, right? If we put something in the way to make it harder, humans are like the path of least resistance, and so that's why so many things get piled up, because we're going to pick the easier option. And if we're putting stumbling blocks in our kitchen, to the cleaning, to the cooking, to the eating, to the putting of the away stuff, then that's going to start causing us to get behind. And some of that's just natural. That's okay. But if it's too much of it, we want to reevaluate and say, okay, what's happening? What's in the way of me actually being successful in my own kitchen? Okay, so we're setting the intent with when I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, in my kitchen, when I need something, I want to be able to find it. I cannot stand looking for things. Everything has a place. It should be back in its place. If it's not, that's stressful to me in my home, right? Right now it's been cold. the gloves and stuff aren't all getting put back where they go because my kids are getting in and out of it. And the other day we really needed to find some, and guess what? We couldn't find them because they didn't put them back where they go. And I'm like, this is why they have a spot, so I know where they are when it's time to get it. So for me, the kitchen, okay, if I need a fork, I need a spoon, it needs to have a clear spot. I need to be able to go and grab it. I don't want to be digging for it. I don't want things to be falling out. I want things to be grouped together where I can see them easily. And for me, I want it to look really beautiful. I want it to be easy to clean. I told my husband the other day, I tell you what, there's nothing like a clean kitchen, there's nothing that makes me want to cook more than a clean kitchen. Like when I see it clean, I'm like, okay, I'll make cookies, I'll make puppet. I really bake more than cook. My husband usually takes the cooking on, but I always feel so inspired to bake when the house is clean or when that space is clean. And so he was like, well, I can make that happen because he really wanted cookies. And so he cleaned it. But those are just things that when I'm thinking about my home, those are things that are important to me in this space. So you do the same thing, take a minute, set the intent for your space, dream big, and then kind of reel it back in for a minute. You don't want to start dreaming big where you start coveting like, well, if I had more cabinets or if I had more counter space, let me go ahead and tell you, that won't fix the problem. I have a big counter, and you know what it does? It just allows me to put more stuff on it. Now, it's really nice for entertaining. It's wonderful, and if that's why you want a bigger counter, I get it. But having more space is not necessarily the problem. We've got to fit within our limits. Sometimes I think about what is fish, and I think reptiles, like they grow to their container. That happens with humans too. The more room you have, it doesn't actually solve the problem of the stuff, right? Like you end up really just filling up more because now you have more space and you're kind of growing into your space. So let's make sure that when we're setting our dream and our intent, we're not necessarily coveting or dreaming of things that aren't within our reach right now. We're gonna think in our space, what is attainable now? How can I love the space that I'm in? How can I be content in my space? How can I make it work better for us? How can I get rid of items that allow that to happen and allow a bigger feeling in my home rather than being discontent with our blessings and with what we have, okay? All right, so first, after you've set the intent, we're gonna move on to our steps. Our steps are sort, edit, and organize. Okay, make sure you're going in that order. You don't want to start organizing stuff without getting rid of it because it really will just go back to some of the former systems or former mess if we don't actually edit and make more room. Okay, so I'm going to start with the cups. I suggest starting with the cups because I tend to see so many cups in other people's homes when I organize for them, but also that's where I'm feeling, whoa, this all of a sudden got really crowded. This cabinet got crazy over the holidays or over the pregnancy. And so whenever I've opened it lately, it's been stressful to me because we have too many things and things aren't going back easily into their places because we've added things without taking away things. That's one of the organizing rules is, if you're bringing something in, then something needs to go out so that you maintain the balance of that space, okay? And we weren't doing that, so now I'm gonna reset. Okay. So this is, I think most of this stuff is out of the dishwasher. Yeah, I told my husband, I said, please help me have everything clean. And he did a really good job. Okay, but this is crowded to me, okay? This space, I've already pulled the stuff down so that you don't have to see me get up on the step ladder and get everything down. So that stuff is over here. But these are just the adult cups. So we're gonna sort them. And so as I do that, I'm going to bring everything out and I'm going to go ahead and just edit as I go. And once I see everything, I'm going to do that as well. Like if I see something immediate. Okay. So when I'm getting, you might be able to see actually. So we have these, their grandpa took them to the zoo and bought them these souvenir zoo cups. So we do have these, and these are Christmas cups, which are when we start putting away Christmas items. Because we still have our Christmas stuff out because it's supposed to snow and the kids wanted Christmas up when it snows. But I know that those are not going to be in this space permanently, so they're kind of set aside. But let's see. Okay, just trying to make sure I can see everything. So right now, as I'm pulling things out, I know these are all in the cup category, so that's our big zone, right? But now I'm going to be putting like drinks together while I pull them out of the cupboard, just the cupboard. Who am I? So that you can kind of see and edit easier. Okay. So one of those things that I would love is to have matching glasses. We keep breaking them, so we never have like a complete matching set. But I don't have to have that now. Like that's me practicing contentment, right? Like I don't have to have that now. We have things that we drink out of. That's just a preference. It's not a need. But one day if I'm shopping and I see a good deal on it, I know that I am safe to buy that item, and I can buy that item because if it's a good price, then I know, because I know that that's something that I've been wanting for this space. It would feel nice to have that in this space. And I think that's something that's special about decluttering is you know what you need when shopping, and then it's a joy when you get to buy that item because you know you're not just buying impulsively, you're not just buying stuff you don't need, you're not just buying it on a whim or because marketing got you. You're buying it because you know that that's something that your home needs or something that you've wanted. And it's, to me, that's more freeing than when I get home and I have like buyer's remorse. I'm like, why did I buy this? I didn't need it. I don't have a spot for this. And so I think that's something really nice about decluttering and knowing what you need. But for now, I'm content with what we have. I don't even drink out of the big glasses. It would just really be for Thanksgiving. And you know what? That's almost a year away. So I'm not worried about it. Okay. I really like virgin strawberry daiquiris, and so that's why we have these. Actually, so let me go ahead and edit. Okay, we have this nice little glass one because we were replacing this one. But we still have this one. Now, it's actually cracked. I was like, well, my daughter, you know, if she wants to drink one with me, then she can have this one. I'm not worried about it, but it's cracking. Like, that doesn't make any sense. And she doesn't really need a fancy drink. All the cups are fancy to her. So I can get rid of this. So I'm already moving it over. That one's going to go in the trash. Not donate, but it's going to go in the trash. I'm going to keep that with the glass. Okay, just got this for Michael for his for Christmas because these other ones are, they keep cracking. So I'm going to let him make the decisions on those, though. I'm not going to make that one for him. If he wants to get rid of them, then that's going to be on him. Okay. Let's move a little closer. I'm gonna go ahead and talk through these now so that she can go ahead and get some feedback or some examples. Okay. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find the ones that I love, love, love. Cup I want to drink out of every day, cup that I enjoy, because that is gonna help me figure out what's going on with the rest of the cups, why we got so many, things like that. Okay. So my favorite cups are these. These are I got these for free from my husband's work, but they are Yetis and they do keep my drinks cold. I really like to drink out of a straw. I choke on anything else. So, anything that I can add a straw to, I like that. So these are my favorite cups. I have these two blue ones and I have a white one that I'm drinking out of today. And I just kind of rotate between them. So those are absolute keeps for me. Okay, we talked about guilt questions, and one of those is gifts. So these two are gifts. And this one is a little bit harder for me because when I see these make me happy because I think about the person who gave them. So this one, my friend Ellen gave this to me when she, as like our bridesmaids gifts, maid of honor gift. And so when I see that, I think about that, and I think about that time with her, and that really brings me joy. And I love that. And I love that it has my name on it. It's cute. But I don't drink out of it that much. Okay. So as far as gifts go, that's why I would keep it, because it does make me think fondly of that time, with her and celebrating her and her husband. This one was actually a gift from a student. I don't drink from Starbucks, but he didn't know what to get me. And I teach online, so I don't get to meet a lot of my students, but his grandparents happen to live in the area. And so he brought me a gift, and I thought that was so sweet. And so when I see this, I'm like, he was so thoughtful. He thought of me, even though, I don't drink from Starbucks. So in that moment, it's like, okay, the gift was in the giving, and I don't necessarily need the cup to remember that moment. But I know that when I see it, I enjoy seeing that gift, right? So, and we have used it. We've used it for like very rarely, but like hot chocolate, if we've gone to like see the hot air balloons, and I used it then. This one my husband drinks out of, so I'm gonna put that in his category, and he can decide if he wants to keep that one or not. This is another one of the cold ones. It's smaller than the others. I really love the color. That's why I would keep this one, but I don't drink out of this one unless all my other ones are dirty, which is actually pretty rare. So this one would be on the like, probably donate, maybe get rid of. I'm gonna put maybe. This one was given to us by the the dental group, and the kids have drink out of it, but they could drink out of something else, right? Like, here's where you don't want to ask yourself, is it in good condition? Is it usable? Can I use it? Yeah, I can. But can I choose other things other than this? It's a cup. Yes, there are other cups that I've already talked to you about that I love. Like if I'm down to a last resort, I would be drinking out of my gift ones more than I would drink out of this one. Okay, so this is a donate. Get rid of. Okay, so some other questions. I'm gonna go ahead and pause on that. I'm gonna give you some other questions to ask. To ask yourself as you edit. Okay. What is an ideal, realistic, comfortable amount for my family? All right. So we are now a family of 6. Okay. Number 6, he's not drinking out of cups. So I don't have to account for him in these cups. Okay. I've got to account for him with bottles and things like that. Okay. So we have the other 5. This, like I said, is just for the adults. Okay. Do we have people over? Yeah, we do. A lot of times people are drinking out of plastic cups instead of any of these cups. So I don't really have to have a ton of cups for people who come over, because we just know we just are going to use disposable cups, or people bring their own cups. The only time that we really pull out a lot of glasses for everybody who is here is at Thanksgiving if we want to be fancy. This year we didn't do that because we were picking easy. I was super pregnant. We're just picking easy. And people brought their cups. So we didn't really even use them then. So thinking about, okay, if I have one cabinet dedicated to cups and that shelf starts getting full, or those shelves start getting full, well, that's not a cabinet problem. That's an inventory problem. I don't need that many cups taking up that much space in my home. Okay, that's not reasonable. Even if I had more space, that's not reasonable. I don't need 150 cups for 5 to 6 people in my home. Okay, so start thinking about that. That's one question. It's just, what's a realistic number? Okay, is it 2 per person in your family? Is it 3 per person in your family? Is it a different kind of cup for each person in your family and they just get 1? They just get 2? You've got to decide that for your family. Sorry, that's just time management. Okay, so you've got to decide that for your own family, what is a reasonable amount for your space and for your family. Okay, next question, how and why do we have so many? How did it happen? Are you bringing them in your home? Are people gifting them to you? Is somebody else in your family bringing them in the home? That's a big deal with plastic cups, right? I organized for somebody. They had, actually it's multiple people. They'll have all kinds of like the same cups because it's like from their favorite restaurant. So they'll get like tons of, us, we like Gus's, and we get Gus's cups. Okay, but these are actually my favorite size cup. This is what I was telling you, I have a morning drink that I drink every morning. I don't drink coffee, but every morning, this is what I want that drink in. And so what happens is we have like 4 of them. I think there's still one in the sink, and we have like 4 of these. And when they start getting gross, we go to Gus's, and then I know I can get a new one, right? So we just 1 out, 1 in, 1 out, that kind of system, okay? But I remember I organized for some people and they had so many. And when I asked them about it, they're like, that was just our favorite place and we just kept them. They're fun colors. We just kept them. And then they could kind of start to realize like, we don't really need all of them, do we? And I'm like, You don't, especially because they're taking up space from what you do want to put in this cabinet, and we could make it look really nice and more functional if you're willing to get rid of some of those. And so of course there's a trade there, but they are willing to get rid of those items because now they get something else that they want in return, which is that function and that, for some people, the aesthetic, right? So keeping that in mind, how are they coming in? Are you eating out a lot and you feel the need to take the cup just because it comes with it? You don't have to. It's okay. You don't have to keep the cup. Or if you do, get rid of some of the older ones, okay? Why am I having a hard time getting rid of it? Always ask yourself that. Is there an emotional connection? Like I told you, it's okay. There are going to be items that we are emotionally connected to. That's harder for me to get rid of. I think about that student and that's sweet to me. And so I'm going to have a harder time getting rid of something that I'm emotionally connected to, but at least I'm making a decision to keep it. I'm not just ignoring it and letting stuff build up. I'm making the decision, no, I do want that. I like the feeling that I have when I see it. I like the feeling that I have when I see the cup that Ellen gave me. I like that, right? And so, but I'm making room for those things that I like, rather than what I told you, the dental group one, that doesn't spark joy. That doesn't bring joy to my life. I don't need that. That's just taking up room and making it cluttery. Okay, do I want this space for something I enjoy more? How would it feel to have more space in this spot and see everything that I need? Because that's what we're going for, right? We're on a mission, on a journey to enjoy our spaces, to get rid of the clutter, the unnecessary items in our space. Why did I bring it in my home? Just asking, right? And did I impulse buy it? Did I see it on clearance? Did it make me think of somebody in my family, but they don't actually love it? It's okay. We're learning, right? Like, it's also loving to learn about somebody. If they don't like it, now you know, and you're like, oh, well, next time I know the right mug to get you, right? Then get rid of the one that doesn't bring that to them. Oh, water bottles. Sorry, I just saw your question, Brooke. How do you store water bottles? This is where I would do it with all my drinking cups. We don't have other water bottles, like athletic water bottles yet. I would put that with my kids' stuff if it comes to that. But I have stored them for other people. There are different ways. If you can store them just in a higher cabinet, and like, it depends on how often you use them, right? That's actually what we're about to talk about, the organizing parts. I'm going to go on that in just a minute, because you might be able to answer it on your own. Okay. Get rid of any yucky items, overused items, anything broken, trash, right? Like, just go ahead and trash it. And then anything that is in wonderful condition, you know, you could almost re-gift it to somebody, anything like that, you want to put it in your donate section and you could go ahead and put that in your car and have it ready to go, right? Because we know we're going to do that at the end of our challenge. Okay, moving on to organizing. So once I've gone through everything, and once I've sorted everything, I've gone through everything, I'm only looking at what I want to keep. I'm going to put all like items together. I love all the glass put together, thinking colors. I love putting all my glass items together. And then if I can do a rainbow moment, of course I want to do that. I don't have a lot of variety. I don't have a lot of rainbow drinks. So that's not really going to work for me. But see how, oh, you can't see actually. Let me flip this up a little. Okay, so see right here, we have these blacks separated, and that actually caused a problem visually. If all my black mugs were together and then my white mugs were together, it would actually be more peaceful. In interior design, things like that, adding variety is intriguing to the eye. But in a space that is already very full, you don't want to do a pattern type thing, because it actually makes it look busier and actually causes more stress, okay? So we're not going to do that in spaces like this that we're organizing. It's a very different approach. Okay, but your organizing thoughts. How often do I need to access this item? Okay, so Brooke, we're going to use the water bottles as the example. How often do we access this? Is this a daily thing? Your kids are doing sports, or that's what they want to drink out of all the time? Anything like, is that an everyday item? If it's an everyday item, you need to pick an everyday, easily accessible space, okay? Your cabinets, that's pretty easy. If it's only the kids getting water bottles, then maybe you could do it lower, because even if they're teens, even if they're older kids, they can still get to the drawers easier than you can. And so I would put it somewhere lower, maybe a lower cabinet, and let them Lower cabinets actually is where I've put a lot of water bottles because the shelf in there is a little bit tricky. In most cabinets, they have like a half shelf. And if I can use like baskets and bins for the bigger bottles, it's usually a better space than the cabinets that aren't always as easily adjustable. So you might consider that. If you have a drawer, I haven't ever put water bottles in a small drawer. I might have put some in a big, like a lower drawer. I think Jessica might have that. When she's watching, she might say if she has the water bottles down low. I can't remember if that's where we settled or not. But I would just think about how often you're using it. If you're not using it very often, then they're so tall. Yeah, they don't fit in the top cabinets. So mine are adjustable. So like these, the zoo souvenir cups that my kid's grandpa got them, then these are so tall and we don't use them very often. We're only gonna use them when we go to the zoo. They're gonna go up there where it's really tall and they're gonna be out of the way. It's an everyday space that, like, I don't use that everyday space up there. This is occasional use. So I would think first about that. The next thing I would think about when organizing is what's the best way to access them? Drawer or shelf or basket, does it need to be closed like we talked about with the nail polish? Does it need to be restricted, like you don't want people getting into it a lot? Or do you want to make it very, very easy to get into and to put things back? So that's something I start thinking about with water bottles. If they're getting into them every day, then you don't want to put them in some kind of bin that they can't get into and out of easily. So you want them just super in a cabinet, super easy to grab. When they're dirty and they've been cleaned, then they can be easily put away. Silverware. You wouldn't put silverware in a cabinet. Why? Because you can't stack anything on top of it, right? Like you can't use up a shelf space with silverware. It doesn't make sense. That's not the best way to access it, and it's not the best way to put it away. Those things are better in a drawer, okay? I don't think I've ever seen anybody put silverware in a cabinet, but it's because it doesn't make sense, right? So kind of thinking through that, like how do you want to get that item? Which ones do I use the most and which ones do I love seeing? So this is, you've picked your spot for them. Of course, you want to put the ones that you love seeing, the ones you enjoy using most in front, and then the ones that you don't use in the back. But then also ask, are you going to use the ones in the back? Or do you really only use the ones in the front? And are there some that you could get rid of? That might be a little bit editing moment too. Rainbow moment. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, but things in rainbow order. God has already designed that. God has already put this beautiful color order, the perfect visual. He's already given it to us. And so if you have colorful items, then put those colorful items in rainbow order, and it will make such a big visual impact for you that it's just very appealing, right? So I do suggest doing that if you have colorful items. If you don't, just go ahead and put like things together, and that'll give the same effect with what you do have, like I was saying with the mugs. And then leave space. When things are all like crammed and stuff, then that creates the chaos. Okay, but even here, even though I was telling you that I have a lot of cups in here, the space that they have between them is going to help you out. And we're doing that by decluttering. We're creating more space in our spaces. And then, this is just a bonus. If you want a glam look, if you're really trying to attain something, you're wanting to make a big impact, when you open that cabinet, you want it to look a certain way, other than the rainbow order, other than putting all the colors together, you can put the tallest items first, which is not as functional, but it is more appealing visually, okay? So that would mean these taller cups that I have, when I would actually have them in the front, and these smaller items, I would actually put more behind it, okay? You cannot see all your items this way. So if you need to see everything, this would not be a spot to do it, or that wouldn't be a spot to do it. But with my cups, I don't need to see every cup at one time. In fact, the more cups that I see, the more cluttery it can feel. So by hiding these smaller items that I don't use as often too, like this, then I can create a much better look here in the front, right? So I happen to have all these cups that are the same. I would do stuff like this. Actually, if you're paying attention. So see, I would actually do this. Okay. Actually, I'd probably put this one over here. Sorry, I'm looking at it in the camera so that you can. Okay, because then I'm going to start creating a front that's going to start looking similar and looking the same. Sorry. This is this is what I do, right? Like I'm going to do it until I get it exactly the way that I think is best. So that's just my brain. But it's going to take some looking at it and thinking about it. Okay, so I have my green tealer one going into the blue one. I like having these because they're the same kind together. And then still continuing with the blue over here, but now it's a different cup. Okay, putting smaller items back behind it that are the same. It's not changing the function in my cup cabinet, but you just have to be careful of that in other cabinets, okay? All right, 329. Do we have any other questions about this kind of section? Hey, Crystal, I'm glad that you're here. I'm trying to see if, oh, and Sherry's here, okay. Do you have any questions about that process now in the kitchen? Or what that could look like. And Brooke, you can always post that, like if your before and after pictures aren't ready, you can always post it and just show us like, I'm struggling with this spot, and then, I can help you, and it could help other people who are having a similar problem. Organizing is very personalized. It's personal to you, to your space, to your items that you have. And so not always what works for me in my kitchen is going to work for you in your kitchen. We would kind of play with it. So you're welcome to put those pictures there and just kind of say, I'm not done yet, but what about this? Okay. Anything else? Okay. All right, well then that concludes today, day 3 of the Home Reset Challenge. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Have fun in your kitchen. Bye.